nearly every American heard about the Little Rock Nine. The story gave a boost to the movement, and the movement gave a boost to the fledgling industry of television news.
Television was just breaking through to being the national medium for news. Not every American home had a television set. We were sort of making it up as we went along.
Barbara, how do you feel about going back to school on this second day?
I feel pretty good about it, although it is sort of a nervous spot to be in.
This was the world of 15-minute news. People like Mike Wallace.
And tonight we bring you a special interview with Governor Orville Faubus.
And John Chancellor.
What we can report this morning is that
were in Little Rock. They began their careers.
Been what you expected, or? Well,
there are people who come up to me and say, you know, they began their evenings by seeing what we were doing. Reality TV. We were early reality TV before we knew it.
It was one of those fateful intersections in history that was very important, both for journalism and also for the African American and the cause of human rights in America.
Martin Luther King's strategy of nonviolent, direct action inspired a wave of young activists to take up the cause.
King was able to energize young ministers, young students. He set a tone of let's come out of these cathedrals, let's come out of these offices, and let's do something in the streets.
Beginning in February 1960, in cities from Greensboro to Nashville, black students sat down at lunch counters and refused to leave until they were served. Sit-ins introduced a new, more confrontational tactic to the movement that provoked white segregationists to violence. Then in May of 1961, 13 activists, black and white, calling themselves Freedom Riders, boarded two buses in Washington, D.C., a Trailways and a Greyhound. Their goal, to desegregate interstate bus lines in the South. Among the group's organizers were student leaders John Lewis and Diane Nash. By now, the activists knew the crucial importance of media coverage and were leaving nothing to chance.
We knew that if one of us did not interpret what we were doing to the press, somebody would step in and try to do it and get it all wrong. And so I was elected to be the coordinator.
There is this story when Diane Nash and these guys are on the Freedom Rides. Siegenthaler, who worked for Kennedy, said they plan to kill you when you go to Mississippi.
My father, he and Diane Nash had a conversation. He didn't want her to continue the Freedom Rides. He said, you're gonna get somebody killed. You're gonna get somebody killed if you keep this up. And she said, you don't understand, sir. We signed our last will and testament last night. We understand exactly what we're facing.
In my capacity as coordinator, several of the students who were about to get on the bus gave me sealed envelopes that I was to mail in the event of their death.
Their route would take them from Virginia and the Carolinas into the very core of the Deep South, Alabama and Mississippi. In Atlanta, Martin Luther King warned the Freedom Riders that he received word the buses would be attacked before they reached Birmingham. Undeterred, the riders continued on. The Greyhound was the first to arrive in Alabama.
When they get to Anniston, some Klansmen, white thugs, stop the bus. They firebomb it. There's a reporter, Moses Newson, on this bus. Neither he nor anyone on that bus imagines that they're going to be able to get out alive.
Editor has a close brush with death. When I found myself in that burning bus, set on fire by the mob, that cold, chilling realization that this might be it came over me. They were using boards and chains, daring people to come out and integrate Alabama. I decided the best thing for me to do was to stick the camera up under my seat. I had no thought about stepping off the bus with a camera hanging around my neck.
Moses Newson quite reasonably figured out that if they knew he was a journalist and not a freedom rider, that he would suffer an even greater punishment than the freedom riders.
Reporters gathered at the Birmingham bus station to await the arrival of the second bus. A mob of club-wielding segregationists waited there too.
The bus came in, they collected around it, they dragged about 6 of the passengers out, both Negro and white. They took them into corridors and alleys and began beating them, began hitting them with lead pipes. At that point, someone behind me whispered in my ear and said, "Someone here has identified you from having seen you on television. They're hunting for you now, you'd better get out."
And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
The segregationist power understood that the press doing its job had become their enemy.
We would like to have all the press, all the news media, right over here for a private company.
In every way, as strong and as dangerous to them and to Jim Crow and segregation as the civil rights protests.
Information media, including the TV networks, have publicized and dramatized the race issue far beyond its relative importance in today's America.
They're cold and a little cramped, but not hungry.
The people who hated us, called us outside agitators, thought that we were of a piece with the civil rights people, that we were hand in glove.
It's all one-sided. And the newspapers and the TV camera all one-sided too. They take pictures when they won't take pictures.
One of their favorite epithets was to call us white Negroes, except they didn't put it quite that way.
If I paint myself black, I'd be on TV every night.
White bystanders harassed us with homemade clubs, cursing us and blaming the press as the cause of the demonstration.
Standing against them were the segregationists.
I covered a nighttime demonstration in Marion, Alabama. Somebody walked up behind me and hit me with an axe handle. Somebody came up and asked me, he said, "Do you need a doctor?" And I put my hand behind my head, and it was all bloody, and I said, "Yeah, I think so." And he thrust his face right into mine, and he said, "We don't have doctors for people like you." It was personal. It was you. It was not bullets flying in the air that could hit you. It was you that they wanted to do harm to.
Of course it was dangerous, but the truth is that the number of times that we faced danger and the kind of danger we faced was very small compared to that with those who took part in the movement. We bore witness to what was happening. We were not participants. What we did was say, here it is. You face it in your living room as individuals, as a family, as a country.